depends yours. Alright, I don't see any more pink in my sausage now. So I think we're about there. I don't have enough pepper yet because my forearms are not yet on fire. So we'll keep grinding. I want my butter cubes to melt. And as soon as they melt, I'm going to sprinkle in flour. How much flour? Well, basically enough to soak up the butter. So the amount of flour totally depends on how much butter you put in here. I put more in here because my class is going to be hungry and my coworkers heard I was making biscuits and gravy. Now since my sausage is done, this is when I'm going to put my biscuits in the oven, which my camera person is not watching. It's okay, camera person, don't feel bad. I don't know how we're getting those out. Okay. It's good to say these are not, these little gloves, they're not helping with the hot trays. Alright, so it looks like my butter's melted. Now, I'm going to take the flour. And you have to do this before you add the milk. If you do this after you do the milk, then it's just going to be all clumpy and terrible. And people are going to be like, why is your gravy all lumpy? So, you just want to kind of shake it in. And, again, how much? Notice, I'm not using a measuring cup. You're just going to do it until it's soaked up the butter. So, stir it around. I got quite a bit of butter. So this looks like I've soaked up most of the butter. And you just want to stir it around real good. I could do a little more than that. There's still a little bit of liquid. So I'll just kick a little bit more in. Super precise measurements on this. Down to the gram. Good thing we're using metric. Alright, so that looks pretty good. I don't see a whole lot of loose butter. Now I'm going to take the milk and I'm going to pour it in, but we need to make sure that we leave enough room so that I'm not sloshing stuff all over my stove. I can ask my wife. She finds it irritating. Do I slosh stuff all over the stove? Certainly do. Do I wash the dishes or the stove? No. No, I do not. We agreed on the chores, and that's not my chore. I just do the cooking. I might even bring this dirty dish home. Y'all think I'm kidding. Alright, so during this stage, you just need to keep stirring the whole time, non-stop. But what if I need to go to the bathroom? No. What if you need something to drink? No. You just stay here and stir constantly the whole time. Like right here, you can see some of the butter floating on the milk. As soon as you stop stirring, the butter and the milk stop being mixed up. Now while we're slowly stirring, every now and then, you need to take a break and add some more pepper. How much pepper? Enough that your arms burn. Enough that you're like, wow, that's a lot of pepper, and then put on some more pepper. And back to stirring. Now, in order to get this to actually thicken up, we're going to have to turn the heat up a little bit. So you don't want it to hit a full boil, but as soon as you see some bubbles start to pop up on this, that's when it's going to start thickening up and start feeling like a gravy instead of feeling like a lumpy pan of milk. So I'm going to turn the heat up just a bit, mostly because this stove is sensitive. So you got to keep stirring. Don't want our butter and our cream to separate, because that's just tragic. I used whole milk for this because, again, if you're on a diet, why are you watching how to make biscuits and gravy? You can also use heavy whipping cream, but I don't know, it's already heavy enough with the whole milk, so I just do the whole milk. 1% milk for this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why are you making diet gravy? That's just sin against nature or God or something. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's in the Bible or not, but they probably meant to put it in there. Stirring, stirring. Very exciting. What do we do now? Oh, that's right. Stirring, stirring, still stirring. Oh wait, I forgot the next step. What's the next step? Stirring. Stirring. And we just keep on stirring. And we'll look at my biscuits. I don't smell biscuits yet, which means it's not even time to pay attention yet. Normally I just cook entirely by my sense of smell, but since we're in school and everybody's got the plague, got this silly mask on, I don't know if I could even smell the biscuits if they were ready and delicious. No telling. I've never cooked with a mask on. First time for everything. And let's put some more pepper in there because, you know, we need more pepper. Sometimes I sprinkle some Tony Chachere's in there too. If the grocery store didn't have any left, and since I got students here, people are paranoid about things coming from the home, so I couldn't just bring my Tony Chachere's to the school. I gotta have like straight from the store stuff. So anyway, sometimes a little Tony Chachere's is good. I like the original. The spicy one, I don't know. The flavor's not the same. It's not the spice, it's the flavor. Could have put jalapeno in here too. There's cream enough in here that it's really not going to be too fiery, but no one wanted it. If I was putting jalapeno in, I would have put it in when I put the green peppers in at the beginning. You can see by the color, it's starting to look more like gravy. It's not as buttery looking. The butter's mixing in a little bit. But if you start getting bored and you're like, man, I wish I was done stirring. Basically, until we get that heat hot enough on the milk in here. Ooh. Start fires. Slopping it up. Basically, until we get this hot enough to where it starts like a soft rolling boil, it's not going to start thickening up. So let's give it a little more juice. What time is it?
31.
31? I spoke to all of your teachers. You're actually allowed to skip your next class and wait for this. We're trying to do this in one class period in high school, and, well, their teacher said it's okay if they stick around and eat instead of going to class. Learning. This is probably more interesting. Plus, those other classes, they're not even math classes, so they can't even matter, right? Alright, so I can feel it starting to thicken up. You can see there's not as much separation between the milk and the butter. It hasn't quite hit that soft boil yet stage. If I stop touching it for a second and do a pepper break, it's like right there on the edge of it. I can see it. It's thinking about it. Oh, we got it on fine setting. Let's put some coarse ground in there. Oh. So we get that more chunky pepper action. Alright. Now, when figuring out the thickness on this, you want to stop when it's just a little bit less thick than what you're going to want when you actually eat it, because it still thickens up a little bit after you turn the heat off. So it's getting close, but it's still kind of runny, but it's starting to bubble a little on the sides, so we're getting super close. And I'm going to have to ignore this for a second. Grab a bowl of biscuits. We're not supposed to end up injured in digital media class. That one still needs to be. That's not quite there. Alright. Ooh, this looks like we are there. I'm trying to heat down a little bit. That is looking like gravy. Boom. Now, it's still a little bit thinner than what you expect in the end, but once it cools down and sits for a sec, it'll end up being a little thicker. All right, that is biscuits and gravy.